Welcome to the channel. This is my review of Skeleton Crew Star Wars on Disney Plus, Episode 6. It's an okay show. It's an okay episode. It is targeted more for kids, just in the writing. Like they do a lot of dumb kid stuff. But, it's okay. It looks okay. Um, Anyways, last episode, we had Not a Jedi taking over. He basically takes over the ship from the kiddies, who were the captain. So he's suddenly the captain, and the robot is suddenly calling him the captain because they had some pirate. There's always pirate rules that you'd think people who run around killing people and stealing stuff wouldn't actually uh, have a code that they have to follow. But anyways, he can challenge for captaincy, and he does. And of course, it's a little girl that he's challenging, and he just says to her, "Say I yield," which she seems to take a huge amount of time in discussing. But he then tells the robot to take the kids into custody, and the curly-haired kid drops um, a button which dumps them, and they basically next you see them coming down these chutes where they end up here, as you can see on the screen, coming out these major garbage chutes. I don't know what. For some reason, the chutes that are the escape tunnel that is in the treasure room ends up a garbage dump. Don't ask me why, but it's yeah, starts off that way. So then the kid with the thing on her head that's partially, I guess, has some implants, which she never really said too much about before, but apparently does have these implants and was in some. You find out in a little bit in the episode that she was in some kind of accident or something like that, which required the implants. But they then get into a very childish argument. They whether they're going to follow a bunch of little uh, crabs things that are walking along with junk on their backs, or basically go up a huge cliff face to where their ship is. They get into an argument and decide they can't. They're going to split up. So, anyways, the rebel chick, she's being an asshole. And anyway, she takes off with Elephant Boy, and that leaves Curly Head and Asian chick to go off in another direction. So then we have what we see here, which is Jude Law. He's basically, sorry, not a Jedi, coming out of the hold, the treasure room with all these things, and he gets captured by the pirates. They show up at a convenient time. So basically, they're going to put him on trial. He's going to try to pay off this pleasure planet and get out of there, but unfortunately, the bad guys show up at the wrong time. So he's taken into custody. Um, while the kiddies are deciding which way to go and starting to take off, of some X-wings show up and take down the two pirate ships. So the kids, at one point, they don't understand. They suddenly understand that the X-wings are the good guys as opposed to the bad guys. So, um, yeah, they knock down one of the ships and the other one escapes with not a Jedi. And yes, the robot, he gets stunned. So the uh, the kids decide they're going to go their own way, not really for any particular reason. And you have the trial here. Um, Basically, he just gives a great speech about getting money and all this stuff, and rather than shooting him out the airlock, which is what they were going to do, they decide to give him one more chance, and he's going to take them to at Adam, or whatever the kids' home planet is, because that's where the old Republic mint is still located, and he shows him one of the chips that one the curly head kid had for lunch money. They think they're wonderful, and he had them for lunch money. But anyways, he says they can get more of these things. Um, so yeah, that's what they decide they're going to do. And unfortunately, the this girl, the Asian chick with the headgear, her implants are malfunctioning somewhere. Why? I don't know. They just start, and um, she tells curly-haired kid he has to um, make a fuse. So he's showing her, or she tells him to get some scrap wire, and then just happens to have a little blowtorch so he can melt it. And then she takes, he reaches into the back of her head, which this thing must go way into her head, but there he is melting it, and she takes the fuse. He opens the back of her head, takes the fuse out, pokes it into the sand to make a little. I mean, that's how they actually make castings. So she or he pours the molten stuff in, and she calls it a fuse, but basically it's just a bar of metal. Anyways, so she's worried that she won't have friends anymore when they find out about the augments and stuff. And curly head kid just says, "Yeah, you can be our friend, me and Elephant Boys." And that's when the giant crab shows up. They didn't hear it. They didn't have anything. All the little crabs carrying the junk. They they were saying they were follow, follow. Well, they just picked up one of their kids. One of his friends said follow, so they just start repeating it, and then uh, basically they flee from, or have to flee from, the giant crab. Their ship gets picked up by tow trucks, equivalent of galactic tow trucks, and is being carted away to this machine that's scrapping it. Um, the two of the kids, the elephant boy and the rebel girl, jump onto the back or the top of the ship, and for some reason can control it from the outside. But they try to get away. The other kids jump from the giant crab onto the ship, and um, they're still trying to get away from the scrap robot. It gets a hold of them. They try a bunch of stuff, including banging the motor like they did in episode one. The Asian chick does that, and they're not getting away. So um, they can't figure out what to do until somebody says, "Oh, let's push the emergency hull demolition sequencer button," which we were told by the robot never to push. So of course they're going to push it. And when that happens, the outside shell of the ship explodes off them, and suddenly they got a new ship based that was inside the old ship. I can't. I'm not making this up. That's what they did. So it's kind of like, okay, well, the pirate, not a Jedi pirate, was supposed to know what the ship is. Did he not know that the ship within the ship thing? Guess not. So, anyways, they suddenly know how to fly it for some reason because the Elephant Boy did it for about 5 seconds on one of the other episodes with not a Jedi looking over his shoulder, and now he's a pilot. So, okay, whatever. But yeah, emergency hull demolition sequencer. That kicks off all the outer shell, and you get the inner shell. Okay, thank you. Anyways, again, it's written for kids. It's Star Wars stuff that's not bad. It's not a horrible show. It's an okay show. Um, I, I'm probably still going to watch it because it's got enough Star Wars to keep me interested. But ultimately, what they have is these kids are trying to get home for some reason, and we found out a bit more about it in the past, that their home was a special world, and it did happen to have an old Republic mint on it, so it was hidden by a special cloud. Nobody knew where it was. It's kind of like a myth, but now not a Jedi, and he has a lightsaber because the curly-haired kid picked one up, didn't know how to operate it, so now that Jedi has it. Although he didn't pull it out when he was meeting with the pirates, and the pirates didn't frisk him to find it. So I have no idea where the where, where the lightsaber went. But anyways, basically going to take all the he's going to take all the pirates to the kid's planet and pillage it, basically, which he seems to be okay with. The kids actually now, however, know the coordinates to get home. They do have a ship because they got a sort of a new ship out of the old ship, and they're going to take off home. So there's only, I think, 2 episodes left. I guess they'll have a confrontation on their planet and solve it in kiddie ways because, again, there's all kinds of stuff that happens, but there's zero consequences for any of it. Like, uh, they have the giant crab appears, and that's scary, but nothing happens to the kids. All the little crabs are just leading them in the wrong direction. The pirate, not a Jedi pirate, gets captured again by all the people that want to kill him, and they don't kill him because he gives a rousing speech about they're going to make some money. So now they're giving him another chance, and it's like, okay, I think if they jumped out of their spaceship and they hit the ground, they would get up and walk away. But again, that's to me the very childish thing that they don't want to have anybody scared or something like that. But there's no consequences for the anything that happens. So there's really no risk. There's no tension or anything like that. It just is curiosity. Oh, I wonder what how they're going to write their way out of this problem. But anyways, so that's the episode. 6 was okay. Um, I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just typical. So that's it. Thanks for stopping by.